I've been a professional painter for over 20 years and I've seen so many useless products pushed onto DIYers like this one. Don't waste your money. Today I'm gonna show you the 10 tools that every DIYer actually needs for painting. Number 1 is a sink. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it is super nice to have a place to wash out all of your stuff and keep all of your tools in tip-top magoo. So you got your brushes, spackle blades, roller frames, all that stuff. A lot of that we're gonna cover in this video. But if you don't have a good spot to wash that stuff out, they're just gonna get gunked up and you're gonna be less and less likely to tackle additional painting projects. Best possible scenario is to have a rec or slop sink. Usually they're in the basement or the laundry room. When I moved, I paid quite a bit of money to have a good slop sink installed in my basement. That's like the best case scenario because it's super deep. You can wash your brushes out, spin them out in there. In general, the rec sinks are already kind of gunked up, so you're not too worried about like cleaning it out or getting it like super duper clean. The second best option is a standard like porcelain bathroom sink. Those tend to hold up really well. They're not super porous and they don't stain with like your paint pigments and things like that. But yeah, a solid washout sink is one of the most underrated things that you can have as it relates to painting. Number 2 is a brush setup. So if you're painting inside, you've got some cut-ins to do, you're gonna need a good edging setup. Most importantly is the brush, and my favorite still is the 2.5-inch angled Corona Cortez. These brushes are awesome. Big fan for cutting in. I've done videos on that. The other thing is the actual edging container. We really like the handy paint pail, and this one has been well loved. And then it comes with inserts, which is really nice because you can, if you don't wanna wash these out, you can just chuck them if you bought a lot of them. But you put the paint in there, and then what's nice is it's also got a magnet on here. Once you are, done your cut-ins, you can just put the heel of the brush around the magnet and it keeps the bristles inside the paint, keeps it nice and wet for you when you're ready to pick it up and start cutting in again. Number 3 is plastic tarping, and I have a tool that goes along with this. I've been using this masking gun recently and I really like it. And what it is, it's got this spool of tape on the top, 1.5-inch frog tape, and then this sheeting that you pull and then tape down to whatever surface you're trying to cover over. And then this whole sheet like unfurls, and this is actually 99 inches long. So what I like using this for is actually tarping off kitchen cabinets and things like that. What's super nice about this material is once you unfurl it, it has a high degree of like static cling, so it'll really suck in and stick to the wall or the cabinets or whatever you're doing. But this is super handy. I've really been enjoying using it. My brother, not so much. He still prefers to go a little bit old school, which is just with plastic sheeting. This stuff's also really nice to have. It just comes in a big spool. It looks like that. And you just unfurl it, cut whatever piece you need. Usually we tarp off furniture and things like that with this. You can also tarp the floor off. Anything you can do with the masking gun, you can do with a good roll of painter's plastic. I found that the Sherwin-Williams painter's plastic tends to be the best that I've used because it also has that static cling element. A lot of the stuff I've gotten from Home Depot just didn't stick as well to what I was covering up, but that works super good for covering your cabinets, your furniture, anything like that, so that the spatter that's coming down doesn't get on them or dust or anything like that. Sticking with the theme of covering things up, at number 4 we've got fabric drop cloths like this one. This happens to be my favorite variety, which is an 8-ounce 4x12, so that's 4 feet wide by 12 feet long. And when we tarp off a room, we use a combination of fabric drop cloths along with painter's plastic. I generally use the painter's plastic to cover furniture and stuff that's in the middle of the room, but all the surfaces that we're walking on will use fabric drop cloths. They tend to not slip nearly as much as plastic, particularly on carpet, and then they can be reused. Once you buy a couple drop cloths, you'll probably have them forever. We have some drop cloths that we've used for well over a decade. They're machine washable, you can dry them, and they're good to go. If you're serious about transforming your home by painting it, then consider joining our online community. Members like Rachel are achieving results like this. You'll get step-by-step guidance, personalized advice, and answers to all of your painting questions. Click the link in the description below to learn more. Coming in at number 5 are spackle blades. This is my favorite combo. I like a nice 8-inch and a 6-inch. If you're new to drywall mudding or spackling, whatever you want to call it, this is a good place to start. I put the joint compound on my 8-inch and then I'll trowel it off with this one, do my repair, and come back and keep doing that. Works really well, super simple. There are a ton of options that you can go down rabbit holes on with this, and a lot of times what I've seen, the mistakes that people make is they get ones that are way too big. In general, the larger the blade, the harder it is to control, but I found that the 8-inch and the 6-inch, great combo, super simple. check that out. Number 6 is a roller setup, and I've got 2 to show you here. One is your standard 9-inch variety, and this frame I think is from Sherwin-Williams. I really like the Wooster frames too. Just make sure it spins and it fits the rollers you're putting on it. But what's really nice about these jumbo pans is they hold a full gallon of paint, and they also have pan inserts, which makes it really nice for cleanup. That way you're not washing out pans and stuff, you just kind of trash the whole thing and move on. This is a 14-inch setup with the pan and everything, and 14s are really nice as well. I really like the Wooster frame that just comes in on one side instead of bracketing it on both sides. Just makes it way more easy to use. I talked about it in a recent video. The pan's a bit bigger because it's got to fit the 14. You can fit a lot of paint in here, and then it also has inserts in it, which again makes cleanup super easy. And you can get these pretty much everywhere, like Home Depot and Benjamin Moore and all that good stuff. That's kind of the combo of the roller setups. The covers, because people are probably gonna ask, are Pro Doozy FTPs in 1/2 inch. We've got the 9-inch and the 14-inch variety. It's what we use, it's our favorite varietal, but whatever you're into, this is kind of the setup I would recommend. And then in line with that, which I'll just include in the number 6, is having a good roller extension pole. This one happens to be my favorite. It is the Sherlock from Wooster, and it goes from 2 feet to 4 feet, and that will do pretty much everything you need to do in like a standard 8-foot high ceiling scenario. They do make larger and smaller ones of these, but this happens to be my favorite ride. Just make sure you're actually using a roller extension. It doesn't have to be this one, but very rarely should you actually be holding on to the roller frame and rolling something. It's much easier on you, your upper body, your back, and everything if you actually use a good extension. I've just seen a lot of nightmares where people are trying to like roll a ceiling just by holding it above them. That's no bueno. Number 7 is a dripless caulk gun like this one. This is actually relatively inexpensive. It's about 12 bucks, I think, from Sherwin-Williams, and they sell similar ones at everywhere you can buy tools and things like that. But what's really nice about the dripless is as soon as you come off the trigger, the caulk stops coming out of the tube, which is quite nice. You don't have to worry about pressing a release or anything like that. Just makes filling in cracks, caulking in trim, anything like that way easier for you. We use these all the time. Number 8 is a knife. It's probably one of the most used items I have on me when I'm painting is a knife, and you can have one like this. This is a carpenter's blade. It's actually a little bit fancy. I'm slightly into knives, but this is a Tyrant Razor 3 from Exceed Designs. But what's really nice is just use standard carpenter blades, and I find any knife that uses that to be quite useful because you can just get a stack of these blades for a couple bucks, and then whenever they wear out, you just pull them out and replace them. Super nice to have a knife in your pocket for cutting plastic, opening things. We use them all the time. It doesn't have to be something this nice. It could just be whatever you want. That's a carpenter's blade. You could even have like a pocket knife like this one. It's like this is a Spyderco Para 3, which is also nice. Just as long as it's sharp, it'll get it done. But I guarantee if you have a knife on you while you're painting, you will use it for something, and probably more than you think. Number 9 is a multi-purpose screwdriver like this fella here. This is just a Husky from Home Depot. It's got 2 different bits in it. One is a small flat and Phillips, and the other side is a slightly larger version of those as well. We use these all the time for taking off switch plate covers, taking down hardware, removing doorknobs, things like that, but super convenient to have one of these around. And I think along with Sharpies, we've lost this tool more than any other thing that we've bought. Somewhere there is a pile of these, and I don't know where, but we buy these quite often, but they're super useful. Number 10 is lighting. One of the issues you run into when you paint is if you clear a room out, you might lose a lot of the light that was in that room, because if you took lamps out and things like that, you might not have a lot of overhead lighting to deal with. We found to be a good solution are actually these guys right here. What it is a little socket. These little sockets only cost $1 or $2 from Home Depot. Then you can screw in whatever bulbs that you want. Usually we put 100-watt bulbs in here, but you can plug them around the room and it'll give you a ton of light that's coming from the bottom up, which is way more convenient than having top-down lighting, particularly when you're rolling ceilings. I pair that with my own personal flashlight that I keep in my pocket all the time. It's probably my most used item that I have on me. This one is a Baton 4 from Olight, and it's a rechargeable. It's super easy to stick on my hat, and then I turn it on, and then I've got light right in my direct workspace, and I can direct it anywhere I want. A lot of times when you paint like inside a closet or something, it can be really hard to get light in there. So having something like this is super convenient. The Baton 4 Premium comes with a charging case, which has its own battery in it, which is really nice. You can get several charges off of this case. And usually what I do do is I actually have two of them, not that you need to do that, but I've usually got one charging in the case and then one floating around in my pocket. So when this one drains out, I just swap them out and then go about my business. If you have a solid flashlight that you can clip to your hat or even a headlamp, you will use that a ton. I prefer the flashlight method just because it's super easy to clip on my hat and take off and on really easily. This is just slips out of my pocket, clips it right onto my hat, and then when I'm done, I can just pull it off back in my pocket and we're ready to rip. Now that you've got the essential tools, the next step is choosing the perfect paint sheen. It's a critical decision that you don't want to mess up. Check out one of our most popular videos right over here to learn how to get that right. Until next time, y'all take it easy, work smart, and have a good one. Thanks.